it's author, musician, singer Al Cole from a CBS radio background, now host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, celebrity interviews giving high-level public figures the chance to talk about their very special human feelings, too. Because celebrities are human beings, people, and we are all people of distinction. And when given the chance, we will all speak openly about the very reason for our birth, the energy and dedication of what we call love. Hey, and speaking of love, you're going to love these messages. On People of Distinction, we deliver the goods. It's Al Cole, host of the syndicated talk show People of Distinction, throwing the spotlight on another one of my guests of distinction, this time the dynamic Marilyn Redmond. She's the author of the extraordinary new book, Road to Success. And let me start out this way. Everybody knows that there are a lot of success books out there, but this one, is really truly special, people. Why? Well, because Marilyn herself is so special. Marilyn rose above numerous addictions, mental illness, domestic violence, depression, PTSD, and a lot more to grow beyond into a successful life. And now, Marilyn is a minister for spiritual counseling. Yeah, I'll tell you, Marilyn found the answer, and you can too. And get this tribute to Marilyn's book. Love Never Fails, a chapter in Road to Success, is probably one of the most inspiring chapters I've read. Best wishes, said Patrick Young, publisher at Athena Publishing, for the book. And if you love the message too, well, you can order this book, Road to Success, at angelicasgifts.com. That's right, that's www.angelicasgifts.com. And Road to Success is also available at Amazon.com. And don't forget, to find real success, move beyond your barriers. Road to Success is an inspirational book with tools and encouragement to overcome the difficulties in your life. So one more time, order Road to Success at angelicasgifts.com. Hey, it's syndicated radio talk show host, author, singer Al Cole, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. I come from CBS Radio. My shows are nationally syndicated, and I've helped pave the way to treating women, guys too, with the dignity that they deserve with my new book. It's called The Spirit of Romance, and the subtitle says a lot about the directions that we take on this show as well. The loving relationship that we all enter into with life itself. Now get that. We enter into a beautiful relationship with life. Hey, isn't that everything? But it starts not when we're 21 years old. All right, so we're officially of age, or 18 sometimes. Or, at 40, because life is supposed to begin at 40. No, it starts when you are first born. You come out of that birth canal. And you say to yourself, wow, I made it. I'm here. I'm alive. Now, get that. The biggest blessing of all, people, is to be alive at all. Isn't that romance right there? That loving relationship we have with life right from the get-go. And then sometimes we lose it. And whatever's lost can be found if it was natural to begin with. And, of course, love is natural. And we can find love again in our lives. It can be love of different varieties. It could be, that love of a spouse, the love of a child. It could be the love that we have for nature. It could be the love that we have for life itself. Now, that love begins on the inside. Your consciousness. Hey. Now, that's something that other major media shows have to get up to speed with. We have a consciousness, people. And it's not just what we see on TV and how well we know all of the superstars and all of this, or how well we can play sports. It's also how well we can relate to whatever master force got us here in the first place. And that is life itself. We start to think that way and take a little bit of alone time and get back into that natural stream and figure out our values, figure out what we're living for and what we represent with love. Now we energize that beautiful love capacity, and like any other energy, that love, boy, now it's a love energy. And we can transmit that outwardly to other people to positively affect their lives as well. We're part of a human family, people. And being part of a human family, well, we're all in it together, and we can all help each other out. You start doing that, you're a person of distinction. Hey. And that's why I call my show that name. Coming up, a lady you're going to love too. It's the second time around for her. She's been a guest on People of Distinction before. And her name is Marilyn Redmond. She has a new book out called Road to Success. Okay, so a lot of people write books about success. Yeah, but this is a book about, you could say, spiritual success. Whoa. Now, it's another road entirely. And I love that road. I take that road myself. So on People of Distinction, hey, that's one of the roads that we have to pave here. And we're going to be doing that with Marilyn's great book. We're going to be talking about spiritual success and how that involves you. Now, whether you're successful or not financially, we can all be successful spiritually, and we were all meant to be. There are certain things that there are overlaps, certain ways that we're successful financially. It could work with spiritual success as well. And then spiritual success is on its own road entirely because it's internal as well as external. And we're going to be talking all about that. Marilyn is. And as she talks, I want you to visit her website and follow along that way too. So many great things there. Now, you would think, okay, you would think that her website would be called roadtosuccess.com or marilynredmond.com. But it ain't. It's another twist here with Marilyn. It's called angelicasgifts.com. Whoa, now this is really something. We're going to find out why it's called that. What are Angelica's gifts here? Marilyn, she's full of surprises, and you're going to love her on People of Distinction with Al Cole. Marilyn, welcome to the show. It's great to have you back for another show here on my radio network and talking about a new book that you have. How are you today, Marilyn?
I'm doing terrific, and it's great to be here, Al. Good to talk with you again.
Yeah, let's talk about it here. Starting out with angelicasgifts.com. Now, your name is Marilyn Redmond, and you got a book out, Road to Success, and yet your website is angelicasgifts.com. Explain that, Marilyn.
Well, when I started doing spiritual counseling 20 years ago, I was trying to find a name for because I don't do just counseling, but I'm also a speaker. I've taught college classes. I've had my own radio show and interviewed my guests. Mm-hmm. I've done a variety of things. I do artwork, and I'm a columnist myself, and so I have a lot of different hats I wear, and so I was looking for something just to kind of cover all my hats, and they're all spiritual. And one of my angels is Angelica, and I was walking with my girlfriend one night, and my cat I named Angelica after my angel, and so I was looking for a name, and she says, well, name it after your angel, after your cat. So because it really covers all my special gifts are spiritual gifts, and so Angelica represents the spirituality that's coming through, and that I'm sharing the message just like you. I heard your introduction. I'm sharing the same kind of message you are.
Absolutely you are, and we love that. And, after we get a little bit of your background here, and you tell us a little bit about, your roots, I'm going to go into a special thing here with spirituality, because I love talking about spirituality on my show, because that's a road that I take as well. So we're going to put a lot of feature on that, and of course your book, Road to Success. Tell us, warm it up here, though, with my listeners, and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, from when you were just a girl, where you were brought up. Fill us in on that. It doesn't have to be long, a minute and a half or something like that.
Well, I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington. And at the time, I did not know a lot of things that I know today about myself, but as a little girl, I took dancing lessons. And danced on the stage of the Moore Theater in Seattle, which is a prominent theater there. And I came out the door of the theater one day, and I looked up at the marquee. It was after the big performance, and I said, one of these days I'm going to have my name up there in the marquee. And I thought that was success. And the rest of my life, I have been very driven to try to find success in my life. And you mentioned that we come into life with a happy situation. In my case, I brought karma with me, a lot of karma to heal in this lifetime. So I came in feeling the fear of my mother's womb. So I was already a fearful child when I was born. And I went through a lot of abuse because my father was alcoholic and my mother was mentally ill, paranoid schizophrenic. And she married a man that was even sicker. And because that was my lot in life, I thought, I literally felt like an orphan and treated like a Cinderella. I married a person who was the same what I was used to, and so I was in domestic violence from childhood through my marriage of 30 years. And so my background was not very successful, even though I looked successful on the outside. I was a very successful teacher as far as my evaluations. I have 7 years of college. I was looking for answers all my life. And I tried to be very successful in so many ways. I was valedictorian. I graduated from college with honors, cum laude. And, so I've soloed with a symphony. I've done all kinds of things looking for success in my life because I was I was always trying to survive. And I was such a victim, and I wanted out of those circumstances, and I didn't know how to do it until I did have a spiritual experience where my husband again was trying to kill me. I was trying suicide, and that's when things changed in my life. I prayed, God, please help me. I really don't want to die. Some of this is explained in my Road to Success book, because what I've done is I've overcome in my life 9 addictions, mental illness, domestic violence, all kinds of illnesses, PTSD, depression, fibromyalgia, and it goes on. And I've discovered through spirituality you can heal your life.
No, I agree. I agree totally. And my listeners, because they listen to the show to begin with, pretty much agree too. Now, I know how I see spirituality. My listeners would pretty much know, I think, how they see spirituality. When you talk about spirituality, this might be, kind of like the question that seems to be so obvious, but still, sometimes the obvious needs to be answered. What do you mean when you talk about spirituality, Marilyn?
I'm talking about the love within your heart that is probably covered up by all kinds of calamity, like mine was. Very scary, fearful situations that keep you from being real and vulnerable. And you're shut down so you can't be the real you. So, and looking for answers, I discovered that if you are in a religious situation, you come from dogma and everybody else is giving you man-made rules. And I was learning to think for myself, and spirituality allows me to not follow somebody else's rules, but come from my heart and do what is best for me and make my own rules, and to find that love in the universe that can fill me and expand inside of me to go, like you were talking, out to help others. And so instead of being a fear-based person, to me, spirituality is being a love-based person, and I try to share that with others.
Absolutely, and I like that very, very much, because you're talking about love right from the get-go, and that's how I would have put it too, and that's how we put it on People of Distinction, and especially when we are on the road to success here, and that road leads to spiritual success. That's Marilyn's new book, Road to Success. Order that at angelicasgifts.com. It's also available...
It's on Amazon. My computer man doesn't have it on my website yet, but it's on Amazon.com with my other 8 books.
Okay. On Amazon, order that book. Let's turn a few pages in your book, Road to Success here, Marilyn. What are some of the prescriptions here for spiritual success?
Well, we kind of touched on the first part. My book is really a short book, and it's very succinct, full of insights and hope and wisdom. But the first thing is to change my perception of what success is. And as I mentioned earlier, as a little girl, I thought success was being famous with your name on the marquee. And gradually what I discovered is money and fame and being a celebrity or popular, you know, in the eyes of the people out there, didn't bring me fulfillment inside. It was empty, and there was a void, and I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And so to me, success is now an inside job, and it's not looking for other people to validate me. It's not looking for how much money I can make or how fancy my house is. In fact, I drive a 94 Chrysler. It's not even a new car. I love that car. But you know what I've discovered is I feel so good inside today. I have ecstasy, bliss, and peace of mind, and I feel successful inside. And I love being in my own skin today, and I'm not running away from reality. And that is such a better feeling than in the old days where it was so devastating and depressed and so forth, with the darkness. And so spirituality for me is turning on the light and enjoying life, as you were talking about. That's what we really are here for, is to enjoy life and learning how to take the steps to do that. And my book is about encouraging people to get past their barriers. Or the messages in our head are out to stop us from being successful, and we don't have to listen to those messages in our head. We can move out of our head into our hearts and live a life that's delightful. The light can come on, and we can see reality, that love is all there is, and that's what we deserve. We were created in it. It's our inheritance, and why not just take advantage and embrace it?
Absolutely. And security. You were talking a little bit about that, too, even though you didn't use that word. You were talking about feeling secure within your own skin. You were talking about feeling a sense of comfort within your own being, and something that you didn't really have to go outside all the time to experience. You didn't have to go out and party. You didn't have to go to bars and all that stuff. You know, a lot of times we think, well, we're going to find that beautiful epiphany outside, that love of our lives or whatever, and we're almost always disappointed, at least in the end, when it was always there on the inside, that security of love on the inside, that not only can we love ourselves, but we are all the time loved by whatever mastermind got us here in the first place. We can connect with that higher self capacity, whatever. And as we do, we are connecting to other people's higher self capacity in the same way, and these people don't even know it. Sometimes people can be living that road to success on totally the outside, and they could be nervous wrecks, but their higher self capacity that they're unaware of is really working overtime to say, hey, look at me. And you can help them, because now you can talk directly to that higher self through energy. And now you can help people, and people don't even know that you're helping them, but they know that they're feeling better. They know that they're adapting better. They know that they're loving more. You've had those experiences as well, connecting higher self to higher self, energy to energy. Is that right, Marilyn?
Well, you put it very well. I had a time in my life when I was first out of college, and my husband and I mean, he was my drinking partner, and I was his drinking partner, actually. And one thing led to another, where things got worse because it was domestic violence. And, of course, we were looking at parties to go have fun and the glitter of that kind of life. And what I discovered is you just keep going down the hole and digging the hole deeper. And of course, it was the night I had my big awakening to ask for, God, in my case, God's help. I didn't really want to die. It became learning to do exactly what you were saying, is to look within for our security and our love. What I've discovered is our society has taught us to be fearful and to listen and to people outside of us and look to others for advice when all the answers are really inside. So I've had to learn to switch my focus, not only for success, but for my security and my love to inside, And that's what I believe is today bringing the success to me. It's coming in interesting ways today. Instead of going out and promoting, things are appearing on my table, you might say, that are exciting and interesting, and opportunities I wouldn't have thought of even are showing up at times. And it's exciting to have a life where you just feel so comfortable and at ease inside. You can just be yourself. And it's interesting to me how spirituality manifests in my life, and it just keeps getting better and better. And that's, I think, what life's about, is energy and expansion. That's a definition of God, is energy and expansion. And when you can share that with others, your life just keeps increasing, and opportunities are there. They've always been there. It's just the fear has stopped it. It puts a blanket of darkness over you, and you can't see the light. So when you can move into the light of God, you can change your negative thinking to your positive thinking. You start moving up the ladder of consciousness. And I have an original chart in my book called Paradigm Busters. It's a ladder of consciousness. In the Bible, they call it Jacob's ladder. And as you move your consciousness higher and higher, you move into the places that feel good. You know, that's what we all want to do anyway, is feel good. And through that, I've done a lot of meditation, and it's actually brought me into contact being a psychic and a medium and connecting with higher consciousness of archangels, Jesus, God, and Mother Mary, and other higher realms of energy. So I've learned to listen to those voices that have the truth. And the truth does set you free, but you have to know it. You just can't read it in a book. You have to apply it to your life. And the more you apply it, the better it gets.
It really does. And I love where you're going here. And we're going to explore that, where you're going as well with higher forces in our lives. Right after we sell a couple of books for you here. Road to Success, people. I want you to order this at Amazon.com. And Marilyn Redmond is our special guest who wrote the book, People of Distinction with Al Cole. And also visit her website, angelicasgifts.com. Let's throw some focus on what you were just talking about. Some of the archangels, some of the forces that we can connect with, that people do all the time anyway, in their ways, but not probably quite the same way that you mean it. And I like where you're going with this. When you connect to these higher forces, and that's my term, it doesn't have to be your term, the higher forces, not only are you uplifted, but you are gaining such wisdom and knowledge from other, again, my word, other realms of reality. It doesn't have to be the way that you define it, but I think you know where I'm going here. These realms of reality are real, and they're everyday realms of reality. And as far as our everyday lives, we can connect with these things. Maybe when we're washing the dishes, and connect to the spirit of maybe Archangel Michael. I've had people on my show who have actually channeled Archangel Michael during a show, and channeled what some people have called the collective. Other things along that line. Tell us about some of the experiences that you have had that way as a psychic medium, because I think that's the term that you used, and we're very, very gripped by that on People of Distinction. Give us a little bit more insight into that.
Well, that's a good question. Yes, I discovered at one point I was psychic, which means that you can connect with third and fourth dimension if they are in this particular alive realm or on the other side. If they've passed over, people that are in that part of their consciousness, that would be a psychic person who would probably tell you about your life and your family's life, especially if they've passed over, or what's going on with you currently. That would be a psychic. If you're a medium, you connect on fifth dimension and higher, and those are the archangels and the masters and the guides that actually get us where we need to be at the right time to make all the connections for what we wrote our script for. So we actually wrote a script before we came into Earth, and it was because we've gone through so many reincarnations. This, for me, is my last lifetime in third dimension, and what I've discovered is Archangel Michael's been with me the whole time to keep me alive. I could share about some past lives. I do past life regression, too. Internationally board certified to do that. And my past lives were so desperate and terrible at various times. I needed somebody spiritually so very high to be with me and keep me protected spiritually so that my soul was not ruptured and damaged. And so Angel Michael pops up in my life. In fact, he's with me almost daily nowadays. And my writing is literally what I'm told from these higher archangels, and John the Divine from the Bible channels through me constantly. He's on YouTube. I have a lot of channeling. It's called Channeling from the Higher Realms. And all my writing and lecturing and speaking is all based on the truth of which I receive through this higher connection. And it goes beyond the ego into releasing the voices of the ego in your brain. And it's coming purely from your heart where the truth is, so that you're hearing only what's real rather than what the newspapers and the news has out there as far as all the devastations. You're hearing something that's going to give you hope and success in your life because it's coming from what works. And when you're in that higher consciousness, it is such a wonderful feeling. It's like coming home. You can just kind of be in it, and it's a marvelous place, so that it's a very relaxing place. And when you're in that place, your health actually returns too. That's one of the benefits of being spiritual, is Edgar Cayce said there in truth is no incurable conditions. And when you're in a fifth dimension consciousness, there's no way to be sick, because that's the unconditional love, the Christ consciousness that Jesus represented in the Bible. So when you have gotten rid of your ego, in my prior book, The Real Meaning of 2012, is how to reduce the influence of the ego. When you move out of your ego's messages, which is ego edging God out, and you merge God in with fifth dimension, you get well and healthy, and your medical problems are really signals of where you're separated from God. And in meditation and in that higher consciousness, you're no longer separated from God. In fact, you never were. We have been taught in past situations, churches, religions, that we were separated from God, but that's not a truth. We've always had God in our hearts. What's been the problem is that our ego and our culture has shamed us and guilted us and given us all this fear. Just listen to the news at night. When we have all that fear, we cannot connect with that unconditional love. And to move out of it, that's what my book is giving people, encouragement and enthusiasm to say, I can move out of that old place and I can move into those higher consciousness where love abounds, and I can become fearless. In my life, I've become fearless. And I know today that's called maturity. And when I was a teacher, we had a newspaper for the children called Weekly Reader, and on the cover one particular week, there was a chart of the ages you outgrow your fear. And so I asked people today, what fears do you still have? Because that means they still haven't matured to be fearless. And most people in churches would call that Christ consciousness, but we can all do it. That's the trick. That's the secret. We can all move out of our egos into that higher consciousness that you've been talking about. It's not limited to just one person. It's there for all of us. And that was the demonstration that we could do it too. And so when we realize and get past these old messages that kept us from being who we truly are and moving into the truth of what's going on, life just blossoms, and it becomes technicolor in a way. We move into the light of God.
I like
we move into the light of God and out of the old black and white movies. We've got technicolor today.
Great way to put it. I like the metaphor there. You know what? Now this is fun as well as being incisive, Marilyn, and I want to take it in a direction here that it usually is not taken. At least, certainly not on other major media shows. And maybe you've taken it in this direction. Dreams. Now, it's not really dreams as the end point here, but maybe it is a starting point to something else. Dreams are, everybody has dreamt in their life, and nobody considers that to be anything abnormal, even though the content of dreams could be very abnormal. And the dreaming aspect itself is something that, wow, it's like extraterrestrial. It's another world, another realm, dimension. When we dream, I'm going to make an analogy here. When we dream, let's say that we have 5 friends that are in the real world, in the everyday world, awakened world, and we dream about them. We dream that we are just, with them, having a nice time and conversations. But of course, it gets a little bit weird in a dream, and somebody maybe they disappear in the dream and then come back, or whatever. But they're 5 real world friends of ours, and then the next day you tell one of them, I had a dream, you were in it. Oh, really? Tell me about that. And maybe that person even says, boy, I think I was actually there. Because maybe they hit that other realm. Maybe that dream was not just a dream. It might have been sometimes what's called a lucid dream, where you actually did enter into another realm. Now, get this. When you, and you can answer both parts of this, whether some dreams are actually lucid dreams and really going into another reality. The other aspect to this is you were talking about going into another reality phase, another realm, when you actually feel the spirit of Michael upon you, Archangel Michael, or some other archangel. Do you sometimes see other friends of yours in that same space because maybe they are under the influence of Archangel Michael too, and you're saying, "Oh, how did you get here? You're here too. Wow!" And you're having this normal conversation in a different realm altogether because of the influence of Archangel Michael. Both of these aspects, dreams, and then using Archangel Michael as the sounding board here for another sort of experience. Have you experienced that with your friends sometimes, or with people who you actually know in these realms at the same time?
Well, dreams are of your subconscious, and they're a reflection and a mirror of what's going on in your life. So whoever is in the dream is reflecting back to you your characteristics that you need to look at. So the people that we know in our third dimensional material world are actually mirrors of us too. But if we're ready to release old energy that we could not do consciously that comes up in our dreams. And so if we're ready to release something and somebody is there that you know from a different situation as a friend, they're still playing a part to show you what you need to change or what is changing consciously in the subconscious. The dreams are subconscious messages of what's going on with you emotionally. And just having people in our life, third dimensional, they're helping us to see what's going on with us emotionally. They're our feedback as to what we need to change. Now, when I get into that space you call a lucid dream, I've had several experiences where it was like I left third dimension and these experiences happened. One was I had a really big spiritual question at one point. Today it's been so many years I can't remember exactly the situation, but it brings your point to mind. I wanted answers to this question, and I was heading for a spiritual group that day to a meeting, and I walked through the door, and what I saw was at this table where all the people that are sitting, usually dressed as regular people, they were all dressed in white robes. And each person gave me a spiritual answer to the question I had just been curious about before I got there. And it was like they went around the room and gave me answers to everything I needed to know about the situation. It was like angels came in to respond instead of the people there. The angels were talking through them to me, giving me the information I asked for. I've also had situations where I was going to a class, and before I went there, it was a class I called it a healthy behaviors class, because when you come from domestic violence, you need to learn life skills. And so before I got to the class, I was concerned and very nervous because I knew there'd be a lot of changes coming in my life. And I literally had half a dozen dreams where I found myself in the situations. One was the houses looked like, when I got to the camp where a meeting was being held, the houses looked exactly like I saw in these dreams. When I did the activities that they were having us do for the classes, I knew exactly what the man was going to say before he said it. When we walked around outside without talking to each other for a period of time and whatever, I saw myself walking outside around this flagpole by the water, and nobody could talk to each other because they were trying to get us to look inside. And all these things that we did were validated before I ever got there. So when I got there, it was kind of like, it's okay, Marilyn, it's scary for you to move out of your comfort zone, but these things are good things, and you don't have to, be so overwhelmed that you can't handle it. So it was kind of like I was getting forewarned that this is what I'd be doing so I could handle it easier. Yeah, I've had quite a few experiences where I seem to be able to move into that space easily. My Archangel Michael and Mother Mary showed up when I went through the baths at Lourdes in France, and literally healed my PTSD through that experience. And when I came back out of that experience, the energy was so heavy, I ended up going back to the hotel and laying down. And of course, I asked, well, what's going on? And they said, well, this was the answer. I get interesting answers through a lot of my dreams and these kinds of visions that I share with people. And what Michael told me was that you just went through, you needed both Mother Mary and me you need as much positive energy to heal the negative abuse you went through so you can come into balance. And you're right now, what you're going through is balancing the energy of the PTSD with our energy so that you can come into balance. And, so today I know how to handle a lot of different things when people come to me for counseling. I seem to be able to get the answers of what will be the healing ways to handle this so we can use that, come into that higher consciousness and move out of our problems that are all based from fear. But usually when you get an awareness, you can come out of the fear and you don't have to stay in it. That's when the light comes on, the ahas, you might say. And so I find dreams and lucid dreams very, very valuable. When I was years ago, I would kind of discount them, but when I was a little child, I had some dreams constantly reappear, and one was wondering, when I went to the little grocery store, my mother would send me to buy bread, and I, in the dream, would find myself at the top of the street, looking down at all the houses on the street on both sides, wondering which house is mine, and I don't think I belong in any of them. And for years and years, I did feel like an orphan, that I didn't belong in any house. And it's just been recently that I've actually have enough security emotionally today that I don't feel like an orphan. I am part of the universe, and I love it. I have a Heavenly Father that is amazing, and I am not separated from that at all. And so these dreams, emotionally, I felt like an orphan for years, and that dream kept reoccurring and was predominant for many years. And so I've had other similar dreams that were telling me things, and dreams are very important. They really tell us at a deeper level what we don't really want to know consciously or aren't ready for consciously. And when people have really ugly dreams, nightmares sometimes we call them, they're actually releasing that old energy to be free your consciousness of it. So when people get scared of it, it's actually a benefit to people to accept that, that dream was really helping me. I don't have to have that in my consciousness anymore. It left. And because so often, even as counseling, sometimes things are so deep in our consciousness, it's hard to deal with it on a conscious level. So our dreams help keep us sane.
Absolutely. This is a sane interview in the highest sense. I love this, going into these deeper aspects of life that are really part of our everyday existence. They are natural, totally natural, and I love that. On People of Distinction, see, we talk this way, especially with great guests like Marilyn Redmond, her book, Road to Success, and she's talking about spiritual success here, as we've been talking throughout the show. And run to Amazon.com, order her book, Road to Success, and go to her website and check out everything that she offers there, too, angelicasgifts.com. Marilyn, we have some minutes left in the show. I want to take it out with a few things here. We're going to come back down to earth here for a second, Marilyn. And I'm going to tell you how. Now, this is not something that I think is usually asked, but it is a down-to-earth question, but it takes a little bit of prefacing here. Now, of course, you mentioned, and many people will say this too, yes, I get see, again, these are my words, my terminologies. They don't necessarily have to be yours, but I think you're going to get the point. A lot of people say, yes, I get counseling from Archangel Michael. I get guidance. I get comfort. Whatever verbs they're using, or nouns in this sense, whatever nouns that they're using here, they are talking about, yeah, I need this. He is a guide, or whatever, that spirit of Archangel Michael is a guiding force to me, meaning that he's at a higher plateau level. Now, the question is, and it's a very natural question to ask, does Archangel Michael get his guidance from a higher force too? And we're not talking about God necessarily right now, because it would be very easy to say, yes, of course, God. But I'm talking about an actual, hey, Michael, okay, this is your counseling session right now with this archangel of yours, the Archangel or something, even on a higher level. Okay, yeah. And Michael's now saying, okay, I'm ready. Yeah. Guide me here. And maybe, like a father confessor, Michael's saying, yeah, I still need work in this, or, I'm really, and this is not trivializing. This is getting down to some of the nitty gritties of different dimensional interrelationships that we might have within our universe. Would somebody like Archangel Michael go through his quote unquote counseling sessions with even a higher archangel force, do you think?
Well, from my understanding of how the hierarchy works, the Creator created archangels below himself. So Archangel is a manifestation of Creator in a form that can connect with us on Earth in this energy that we have. And so it's when Archangel says, I am the light, I'm the path, I'm the truth, he's talking about God coming through him to show us that answers of those things that we're looking for in light and truth of life. And he's a direct conduit of Creator. And then below Archangel, there are there's actually 7 denominations of angels, but the archangels are the highest. And then there are lower energies that have different names like seraphim and cherubim and so forth. Mm-hmm. So the angels, if you're looking for the highest source of what we communicate with on the planet, and you're looking at the top of the heap.
Yeah, I get it. Well put. And, another question that I have here, your book, The Road to Success. Now, we know that 9 out of 10 times, people are going to look at that title and say, okay, so it's another financial success book, which that's not meant to be a pejorative, because success books of all varieties can be very helpful to people. But not too many people are going to just look at that title in and of itself and think that, oh, yes, of course she's talking about spiritual success. What other kind of success is there? They're going to be thinking, more than anything else, either financial success or some sort of social success, dating success, family, whatever. Now, question is this, and I have people from all walks of professional life who come on my show, and most of the time when they're talking about success, they aren't talking about financial success or some sort of social interaction success, etc. Spiritual success. Is that something that can help out in these other areas as well? Can spiritual success help out in financial success and social success on the outside as well? Or is it something that really should just be kept on the inside? What's your reflection that way?
Well, I think we've come to learn to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will come and be provided. God's Spirit is sufficient. So when I search first for that inner success, with my connection with a higher power that loves me unconditional, and that energy is in all things on the planet, plants, flowers, animals, everything has that vital life energy in it. And when I am successfully connected and wholly open to that, the spirit then manifests into physical form for me. All things come from that energy. And my next book is going to be explaining this even more. Thank you for asking. Because so we have not been really told that energy manifests into physical form. The formless becomes form. That's what Einstein's theory is about. There's actually people, I've just written a chapter for an anthology. There's people in England who have put together the ability to manifest physical form from energy, matter from energy. So when you look at the Bible, it talks about going from darkness into light, or people talk about alchemy. All of these things are energy that's formless and it becomes form. So I know today that people, when I get money, it's really from God, but that's just the conduit from where it came from, that particular person or that particular project or how it showed up. I'll tell you a story about that.
Sure.
I had a roof problem that needed to be repaired, and I'm on my own at this point, have a house to take care of and repaired, and I made a deal with, you're not supposed to make deals, but it works for me, made a deal with my higher power. I says, okay, if I'm supposed to live in this house, it's your house, I'll give it to you, you're going to have to take care of the repairs. But I'll be a good trusted servant, and I'll do what needs to be done to make sure that the house is, taken care of appropriately. And all of a sudden, I had a bill for $1,200 for the roof repair. And that was the year I said, okay, how am I going to pay for this? And that was the year that Bush sent out checks to everybody that was paid income tax. I got a $600 check from the government. And I says, okay, that's only half of the price of the bill I owe for the house repair. And about a week later, I got a phone call. I happened to own a commercial building, and they called me and said, if we change your insurance to this other company, we're going to save $600. Would you like to make the change? And of course, I jumped on it. I said, yes. Yeah. And there was my $1,200 to pay for the roof repair. Mm-hmm. So this is what happens in all of our lives. The car I got, I know God gave it to me. I know how the building in my life came to me through the divorce, so that's what I live off of. So everything comes to me from that. The spirit manifests into physical form, and when I'm connected, that's when it shows up. The problem that people have is they have barriers. They've been taught that they're finite in their consciousness, and God is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, and that's what's within you. That's who you are. And if God is infinite, you are too. And so you don't have to limit yourself. God doesn't limit himself. And so you can have all of that, your inheritance. And we don't have to think, well, I'm only worth so many dollars an hour, or I'm only, I can't afford whatever because it's, I don't have the finances, or I can't do whatever, or go someplace, or, various things that we limit ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not worthy, we don't deserve. All of that's a bunch of crock. And so you deserve it all. And it's sitting right there in front of you like an escrow. All my books help you to release the barriers that are stopping those things coming into your life. They're sitting there waiting for you, because when you came into this life, those things were a part of who you are, and you deserve every bit of them. You're a worthy person, and nothing really can stop it coming from you except your ego and the old fears that people present to us, and we don't have to buy into that anymore. And that's called fifth dimension. That's called ascension. That's called heaven on earth. We have heaven on earth. It's in front of our noses if we just release the barriers to it. And that's what we're learning to do. And that's, to me, what the spirituality journey is about, is the more I release, the better it gets, the more manifests in my life.
Absolutely. Boy, I'll tell you, you handled that one great. And we got to really the pivotal aspect of what really Road to Success is all about. That is, it can reach out to all avenues of success as well, people, because when you start to connect with that self within, capital S, then, you can actually connect with other selves, not just within you as far as, being a Renaissance person, and connect with all of the different talents, all of the different possibilities within you. Certainly, you do that, but also possibilities within other people. And it even helps in that success area with social success as well, because we are spiritual creations acting out social directions. At the same time, we can help out social directions through our spirituality and even financial situations. So Marilyn is right on track there. Road to Success. I want you to order that book, and you can order it at Amazon.com, and you can visit her website, too, for extra things that Marilyn offers, angelicasgifts.com. Marilyn, we only have a few minutes left in the show right now, and I want to take it out with some possibility thinking. I end all of my shows with that. It's really a gripping way to end the show and encapsulate the spirit of any show in terms of what if everybody, let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, I think we were supposed to have done it in 2012, but let's say 100 years from now, or 50 years from now, 25, whatever. We're all paving that pathway, that road to success, spiritual success now. We are, as a human family, we get it. We get it as much as you do. What kind of world would that look like that it doesn't look like now?
Well, that's a beautiful question, because so many people have heard of the 1,000 years of peace, and that's what we're approaching. We are releasing everything that is keeping us bound into the darkness. Some people call that Satan or the devil, and we are turning the light on that. So we are coming into unity and cooperation, there to be supportive of each other, which you've talked basically about. The more we give, the more we're going to have, because that's part of the universal laws, which I discuss in the book. And so we're coming into a place where we won't have to work heavy duty to be able to supply what we need. We're going to be able to be more helpful and beneficial to those around us, people that are in need and help. Instead of working for a living, our needs are going to be supplied to us through the Spirit becoming manifest in physical form. So we will have less burdens of responsibility financially, because our bills will take care of themselves. That's kind of what's been going on in my life for some time now. The money shows up, as I just explained a minute ago. So what I'm seeing is our life is going to be lightened from not having the strains and struggles of the past. And that's the Four Noble Truths, is when you give up the struggle and you move into just relaxing and enjoying that energy in our lives and sharing it with others. The more you share, the more it grows. That's energy and expansion. And our lives are going to have a different twist. We're still going to have challenges and learning. We're going to be learning how to manipulate energy in a different way than we do here on Earth. And that's basically what we're doing on Earth, is manipulating our emotions, which are energy, so they produce the kind of better results, which we call ascension, or raising our consciousness. But when we move into that higher space, we're going to be able to adjust our consciousness and our energy into, we're going to be purposely in other people's dreams. Like when a relative shows up in your dream, that is real. They've dropped their energy to do that, and that takes a tremendous amount of learning and a higher consciousness to do that. So you're going to be able to do things you could do today, because the lessons will be just in a different level than what we've been going through on Earth in third dimension. We're going to have higher consciousness with a higher level of energy training. And so it will not be hardship, it won't be struggle, it won't be lack of or feeling insecure. We'll have those things we've learned and moved through and outgrown. And we're coming into what some people call maturity, that the planet is growing up and becoming a mature planet, where we are there in ways to be of service. And that's, Mother Teresa was a huge example of being in service. She didn't do it for selfish reasons. She did it because that was the right thing to do, and helping others that needed that kind of help in India. So we're going to be in service to others. That will be our major focus. And when you're out of your selfishness, this is going to be a time of being selfless. And when you have people that are selfless, we will be in that joy and bliss we've been trying to accomplish in third dimension, but we will finally achieve that and be able to enjoy it and see the blessings that come from being selfless. there's a difference between conditional love and unconditional love. And when we move with take the strings off your love. Whenever you give it, don't expect any returns back. You can just do it from your heart, and it doesn't matter what the other person does. You're just doing it because it's the right thing, and you're being generous, you're being caring and sharing, and that's a wonderful place to come from.
Whoa, absolutely it is. And that's a wonderful, wonderful answer to possibility thinking when we do follow that road to success spiritually. Marvelous. And, going to cap off the show with a couple of cents of my own here, Marilyn, to underscore the great sense that you were just making. When we get to that road of spiritual success, that is predestined. Why else is life around if not to walk that spiritual path? We will live out the true meaning of a phrase that is never used in our society. I think I coined it, and I think I'm the only major talk show host that ever uses this. We all know be the very best that you can be. All right, that's been around, seems like, from time immemorial. But there's another phrase that's going to really eclipse that one. Be the very best that somebody else can be. Yeah. Now, we are that in our everyday lives, sometimes unconsciously, we don't think about it. In our very best love relationships, love is the key to that. In our very best love relationships, we are, in some ways, living out the destinies of other people. And we are consciously saying, what can I do to help? I love you so much. I want the best for you. We walk in somebody else's moccasins. We actually feel somebody else's feelings. We know just by looking at somebody, whether they're down or up, we know how to encourage them in different ways, how to make them laugh, how to make them cry. Now, that is a tremendous gift. It's also a tremendous responsibility. That lays a lot of things on us. Sometimes we can't even take it. We know about empaths. But that's a different story here. But in the positive way, we are searching for ways to help that person. Sometimes we know the answers, and that person's searching. We can help them in so many ways. Well, why not our human family? Because that is endemic in us, people, to want to reach out through love to serve others. We know that. Some drastic situations, we want to help. Oh, my God. That's the first thing that comes out of our mouth. God. So we can be in that time frame, even if it's 50 years from now, 150 years, or 500 years from now, when we actually are all walking that spiritual path. We're walking it anyway in individual ways at individual times. The thing is to put it on the front burner of our consciousness and say, whoa, I'm not the only one. And also talk about it. We should be talking deep talk all the time with our friends. We should be seeing that stuff on major media because that is really our destiny. And if we put it on the front burner that, I'm going to look for ways that I can be the very best that somebody else can be, after a while it becomes second nature. You're there. And then other people are going to check it out. Just like, Marilyn was saying, she doesn't search for money. Money kind of finds her. And I can relate to that. I understand. After a while, we put this caring on the front burner. All of a sudden, people are going to seek us out and say, you're somebody easy to talk to. You're somebody that can relate. You're somebody that might have some of the same values as I have. Whoa, we find out that we all have the same values, people. We all want to live. We all want to love. And we can do that even in our own consciousness that can now reach out to the consciousnesses of others. We can kiss each other's consciousness as well as, just kissing each other's lips in relationships. Kiss each other's consciousness as well. And that is real lovemaking in the end. It's love creating. And that's what we talk about on People of Distinction with Al Cole. Again, especially when we have Marilyn Redmond on talking about Road to Spiritual Success. And actually her book is Road to Success, but you know what we're talking about. Run to Amazon.com, order that new book, and also visit her website, angelicasgifts.com. CBS.com. Thank you, Marilyn, for being my special guest here today on People of Distinction with Al Cole. It was really great to have you on for show 2 here. I'll invite you anytime back for show 3. You're a sparkling guest, and I always enjoy you. Thank you so much, Marilyn.
Well, it's been a thrill to be here, and I appreciate everything we've done today. I hope people have learned from it, and I would love to come back, and I'm working on another book, so we'll have some more to talk about.
Yes, we will. I'll look forward to that in big-time ways. That's really wonderful. So until next time, people, wish you peace, awareness, romance, and mostly love.